Hello, I welcome you all to Hansraj e-Samvaad, a center established under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching under the Ministry of Education, Government of India. In the series of the podcasts on Indian aesthetics, we are here on part 2. Once again, with poet, professor, playwright, policymaker, public speaker and motivational speaker, Dr. Devender Singh once again. In the previous podcast, we discussed the ideas of Sahridata, we discussed the origin of Natya Shastra, we discussed on how the idea of Shiv is also created, how the idea of Shiv is also related to creation and not just destructions. We gained unique insights, and after seeing the love that we have received in the form of the various comments and on popular audience demand, we are once again now in the second part of this podcast on Indian aesthetics. We welcome Dr. Devender Singh once again to our studio. Namaskar sir, welcome.
Namaskar.
Sir, in the last interview, we discussed on how Indian aesthetics, acquired a unique space over the years. Can you throw some more light on it in continuation to our previous podcast?
I'll start my conversation with one couplet of Upanishads.
ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते.
Whatever we start in the name of God, we should complete it. And may God bless us with power to complete whatever we start in His name. Aesthetics is the faculty of godliness. And when we talk about aesthetics and we start doing something, saying something, so in the last episode we discussed that it acquired a shape, of course, over the years, over the centuries. But how? And who were the people who gave it a particular shape? They deserve special respect. They deserve a place in literature. They deserve a place in our heart. I categorize Indian aesthetics and its development into 5 parts. First, a little bit we discussed the journey from Shunya to Shabd.
Sure, yes.
Okay, nothingness to sound. Okay, Kabir says there was nothing in this universe, and when nothing was there on this earth, God was there. Second aspect of aesthetics after Shabd, because people say that Shabd emerged out of the sound which was created by the drum of Lord Shiva. It was actually a nad, vibration, which we call today Om. And this vibration gave birth to sound, different grammars. When sound was created, Lord Shiva, when laid down foundation of aesthetics, it always acts like a bridge between your life and your death. Because we have already discussed that we start performing as we are on this earth, we cry. This is the first performance, and this is where aesthetics starts. So if you talk about Lord Shiva, we already proved it that He is creator, He is also preserver, and He is also the destroyer. And in our classics we give it a different name. Srishti, which is creation, which is also called Srajan. Sthiti, which is preservation. And then destruction, Sanghar. Second journey of aesthetics is from Shabd to Ras. Why Ras is so important and why we give importance to Ras, we will discuss it later on. But the second journey, because when you start uttering sounds, they created certain things in you, they evoked your emotions, and those emotions created different kind of interest, they resulted in different kind of emotions, and that is Ras theory by Bharat Muni. Third, sound was created, Ras is there. Next generation of aestheticians, they started working on modulation of sound and meaning. So third journey is from dhwani to meaning.
Dhwani to meaning, yes.
Okay. Sound without meaning is noise. Okay. So it should have some meaning. That's why the next generation of aestheticians, they started working on it. And after meaning, when you come back to dhwani, dhwani alone is not enough. Okay? Because the same word can be uttered in different ways to give or to add it to different meanings. So that is why aesthetics is important between your text and your sound. So then aestheticians added the fourth thing. And finally, we will discuss certain things about the contemporary form of aesthetics. How contemporary aestheticians they got highly influenced of the older generation, and how they came back to the same track, and how they appreciated their beauty and made it fit to the contemporary generation. So these are 5 areas which shaped Indian aesthetics over the years, over the centuries.
Wonderful. I think you have very nicely, at a very glance, you have taken us all to the journey of Indian aesthetics from its origins, till the contemporary times. But sir, I would want to know that when we talk about Ras theory, when we talk about Bharat Muni, in the previous podcast, in the very first podcast, you briefly discussed on the idea of Bharat Muni. But in this one, how do you think Bharat Muni's Ras theory, the theory of Ras, how does it contribute to the idea of Indian aesthetics, and in the Natya Shastra particularly, how does it lay the foundation for Indian aesthetics?
Piyush, there are 2 great signals of life we discussed it last time. One, sense and sensibility. And second is movement. So Ras theory is important in the first context, sense and sensibility. And when I study Ras theory, I am giving a very novel aspect to my audience. Why Ras theory is so important for Indian aesthetics. Because all 9 sentiments, earlier there were 8 sentiments, but later on Shant Ras was also added and it became 9 sentiments. How all 9 sentiments are related to life, we need to explain, and we need to understand those things. Unless you understand all 9 sentiments, you cannot understand Ras theory and how they are related to life. Bharat Muni pondered over a lot, and then he came out to the conclusion that this theory is anyhow related to knowledge system. So Bharat Muni explained the relationship between performance and spectators, and how Ras theory evokes emotions. Now let me start with the first sentiment of Bharat Muni. Ras theory starts with Sringar Ras.
Sringar Ras.
And the Lord of Sringar Ras is Lord Vishnu. And why Sringar is needed? Sringar Ras, the result of Sringar is erotic sentiment, which we need for creation. So the life starts with Sringar Ras, the first.
Very interesting perspective.
Very interesting perspective. And number 2 is Hashya. Why we need it? Because when you are in the womb of your mother, this has been proved at many occasions, and all the aestheticians and all the philosophers and scientists, they say that in the womb of your mother,
Yes.
you are in a position that you are always meditating and you are in touch with the Almighty. So why do you cry when you come on earth? Because you have the pain of parting from the Almighty, that now, because mother is the creator and God is also the creator. So they are synonymous. Okay? Except mother, there is no power in this world that can give birth to anything. Okay? And the womb of mother is so powerful that it can even give birth to the gods. So when you have the pain of parting after taking birth, then you cry. So Bharat Muni gives you the next sentiment, okay, to relieve you of pain. That is Hashya.
The comic elements.
Comic element. And third element is then which creates compassion in you, Karuna. So why do you need third element, Karuna? Bharat Muni says, when you talk about Karuna, it means you have to be compassionate. Okay, the word, like if you are pained, it means the whole world is pain. Okay, the whole world is full of pain. So you need to be friendly with other people. And this is the only idea that was given by the Indian philosophy and Indian classics, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Without the sentiment of Karuna, you cannot even think of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And this is also needed to achieve knowledge. Okay? And knowledge is the only thing that can create Karuna in you. So third sentiment, you needed Karuna. The fourth one, Raudra Ras, okay, which is anger. After Karuna, one may think that why do you need anger? What is the need of becoming angry? So anger says you need to transform yourself. Okay, without anger, there is nothing in this world you can do. Okay, all inventions, everything. Suppose you got a piece of stone on your way, okay, and your leg got struck, you become angry. So there are two transformations of anger. You will hit the stone again, or you will take it and put it away. And there is a third way also. You will take the stone and you will turn it into an artistic piece. All three results are out of anger. So this ras says, this sentiment says that you have to transform your anger in life, and this is how life is governed. Okay. Next sentiment which comes in this series is Veer Ras.
Heroic.
Heroic, Veer Ras. In order to do anything in life, you have to be heroic. You have anger, okay, but you cannot control it. Heroism is not only to preach something, or not to conquer the world, but to conquer your anger and to transform it.
Wonderful.
That is heroism.
Absolutely.
And all aestheticians of our country, they pay attention to the inner self. Okay, control your emotions. Because of this Veer Ras, lot of violence has been there in this world. Okay, and violence has created chaos in this world. And let me tell my audience, this is Indian civilization that gave the world a theory against violence. Okay. Why do we need peace? We are the country of peace. We are the country of Lord Buddha. Okay, that has given the theory of peace. And why do we need peace? Why? Because of this ras. Okay, Veer Ras. We have turned violent, and we are in tune with the universe, because people say the whole universe, the base of the universe is on violence, and that's why, because we are the part of the universe, the whole humanity on this earth, or life is violent on this earth. So we need to control this particular sentiment. Unless we control it, we cannot go ahead. We have given one slogan. Okay, well, how can we maintain peace to this world? You have to have two ideas in mind. Number one, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
The whole
Okay?
world is a
The
family.
whole. And number two, which our civilization gave, Soham. Soham is a very deep philosophy. Soham means I am like you. Okay. So when you have this sense of equality, sense of harmony, worldly brotherhood, okay, then only this particular sentiment can be controlled. Otherwise, it is very difficult thing.
Perhaps, sir, I think that currently in the 21st century, in looking at the various global unrests in the whole world, I think your ideas which you are giving here, perhaps a look back at the Indian aesthetics can solve the world's problems.
Indian
Just by looking at
aesthetics is having solution of all the problems.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm relating them to life.
Yes.
Okay? If you have virus and you have anger only and you don't know how to control and transform anger, then you cannot live in this
That's
world.
exactly what we are seeing in the Middle East, in the Americas, and
Exactly.
all over the world.
Everywhere in this world, everywhere it is happening that you are becoming angry and your anger is always intensified and it is coming out in the form of violence on other people, sometimes on the innocent people. And when you are using your power, because anger gives you the power, and power is most dangerous of the gifts unless you have learned to control it.
Absolutely.
Okay? If you don't know how to drive and you are given a car, you will hit people and you will hit yourself also. So anger is destroying things in two ways. It's a two-way traffic. Okay? You are hitting people, committing violence, and you are committing violence at the same time on you also. It is destroying certain things within you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And the result of anger, if it is not controlled and transformed, is bhayanak. Okay? Next sentiment.
Yes.
Okay? If you don't control, then Bharat Muni says your life will face consequences. And those consequences will be fatal to you only, not to the entire world. Because you exhibited your anger, okay? You showed it to the world. Now it is your turn to feel, to accept the consequences and to bear the consequences.
That is the next sentiment.
Next sentiment is Bhayanak. Okay? And then comes Vibhats.
Vivats, the grotesque.
Grotesque. Why? Why Vibhats after Bhayanak? Because life at one particular phase says that there are certain things which you need to give up. Okay? They are ugly at one particular point of time in life. You feel that there are certain things attached to life. Okay? In childhood, you are given hashya. Okay? Be one with the world. Okay? And try to be happy, because this is the only period where you are immensely happy without reason.
In the childhood. Yes.
In the childhood.
We are all happy without any reason.
Yeah. Second thing, during your youth, you have to do certain things which are unwanted in order to earn your living. So you are sinful also. And I always talk about these things. We human beings are because of our sins on this earth. The one thing which is very important regarding human life, why we are on this earth, we are the transformation of godlyhood. And our journey is from incompleteness to completeness. We have to pass through all these sentiments. Remember, incomplete God is man and complete man is God. So we are on this earth, we are bearing pain because we are incomplete. And our journey is towards completeness. So when you talk about vibhats, it means now you have gained knowledge and you feel that I have completed my duties, I have no responsibility except improving my innermost, inculcating values in me and sit in tranquility. So Vibhats says, give up, denounce, but not like King Lear. Okay, this is the difference between Indian literature, Indian aesthetics and Western aesthetics. There is a King Lear who denounces, yet he wants to be treated like a king.
Yes.
Okay, so once you denounce, this is sannyas. Okay, this is ekant. And ekant means ek ka bhi ant. Okay, there will be nothing inside you. Okay, and you will have to denounce everything. And after denouncement, Bharat Muni says, if you denounce, okay, and denouncement is complete, what you get. This is the unique experience, Adbhut Ras. Okay. Next, the eighth one.
The next sentiment.
So when you denounce and you sit in tranquility, you ponder over certain things and you try to connect yourself with the Almighty. This is the Adbhut experience which Bhartrihari experienced, Buddha experienced, there are many other sages experienced. Okay. So this is Adbhut Ras. And when you experience this interesting thing, unique thing, because once you connect yourself, then W.B. Yeats, if you remember, in Sailing to Byzantium, he talks about this state of samadhi. Okay, so he says, once out of bodily form, I will not come back to this. This is salvation. Shantras. Okay, now you are
We are done with
peaceful.
all the night.
Yeah. So you rest in peace then. So this is how life is connected to all the sentiments, from your birth to the death, and there is a particular order of these sentiments,
Yes.
which is very, very scientific.
Very scientific. I think, sir, you gave us the philosophical as well as the psychological dimensions of Rus theory, right? So, Rus theories and Indian aesthetics, now I firmly believe after this short session that it's not just important for individuals but also for the larger nations, for the entire world.
Right.
So, a very beautiful perspective. Sir, would you also tell me something about the dhwani and the role of dhwani in Indian aesthetics, because it has been a point of contention whether dhwani is important or not. The Western aesthetics might not consider dhwani as a very important element, but Indian aesthetics hold it in high regard.
Yes, if you talk about sound and dhwani, there are two different things. Okay, the universe created a nad created sound. Okay, and there are different shapes of sound. There are different types of sounds, and we have already discussed it. Sound without meaning is noise.
Yes.
Okay. So in order to avoid that chaos, we need to give a particular shape to sound. So dhwani, when Anandavardhan came in the 9th century, Kashmir is having a great contribution in Indian aesthetics.
Kashmir.
Kashmir is very important. See, Anandavardhan, Kuntak, Abhinav Gupta, all these aestheticians, they are from Kashmir. So Kashmir is very important part of Indian aesthetics so far as the contribution of aestheticians are concerned. So this part of land is very, very important, sacred to our country. So dhwani, Anandavardhan says, dhwani is the suggestion for meaning. For example, if you are sitting in a different room and your mother calls you, so first time she will call you Piyush and you don't respond. Second time, dhwani will convey the meaning of what your mother is having in mind. Piyush.
Yes.
And third time, if you don't respond, she will add a different meaning to this dhwani. This is how dhwani conveys meaning. So dhwani is very important. Anandavardhan says text and dhwani, they are related. And he added three meanings to dhwani. One is abhida, which is the literal meaning. Second is lakshana, which is implied meaning. Third is vyanjana, which is the connotation, different connotation. So annotation, denotation and connotation. So abhida, lakshana and vyanjana. I am giving you one example and let us interpret in three ways.
Yes.
Okay. Towards the end of the day, the flower closed its petals. So the literal meaning is flower is closing its petal. Then the implied meaning, the day is going to end.
Yes, absolutely.
And connotation, you can add different meanings to this connotation. There is a pain of parting, desolate mood, evening brings sadness, even flowers are sad. Though there are people who have added the right meaning to evening also. People like Collins. Ode to Evening, please read that poem. Keats and Collins. Keats gave the theory of negative capability.
Yes.
Of course, Collins used it. But Keats sees beauty even in sadness.
Yes.
He can see beauty even in autumn. And that is why we need to apply dhwani with ras theory. Okay? Dhwani and ras, they make even all sad things happy. Autumn is not beautiful to Keats. It is the season of mist and mellow fruitfulness, the close bosom sun of the maturing sun. So he says it brings you fruit also. If autumn comes, it brings you fruit also. Look at the fruits, not at the falling leaves. So dhwani gives you the meaning, and meaning can be interpreted in three ways. And this is how dhwani to ras becomes. Okay, dhwani creates a sentiment in you, and that sentiment conveys meaning.
Wonderful. I believe that the audience must have got a lot of perspective on the idea of dhwani and Anandavardhan, which are traditionally not available anywhere. So a very key takeaway of this lecture on the idea of dhwani. But sir, after dhwani what? Can we also have some ideas about, because the idea of alankar. So after dhwani what exactly comes, and how does alankar shape Indian aesthetics?
So we were talking about what after dhwani. After Anandavardhan, Abhinav Gupta came with his theory. He supported dhwani theory. And he says dhwani should be connected with ras. Okay? And he is the first one who integrated dhwani with ras theory. And as we talked about Abhida Lakshana and Vyanjana, which is direct, indirect and connotative meaning. The third meaning lies between, we teach this theory. Okay? We teach this theory to our student. Two theories we teach, and which are very basic theories: structuralism and deconstruction.
Yes.
Okay, structuralism says that your ideas and your thought process are reflected through your words, which are already structured in your mind. Okay, and there is nothing beyond words. Okay, the meaning lies with words.
Absolutely.
But Anandavardhan says meaning lies in three things: Abhida Lakshana and Vyanjana. It lies sometimes beyond words. And Bhartrihari and Anandavardhan, they gave deconstruction to this word. Okay. How? The third meaning. Okay. Meaning lies beyond words. Okay. And this is something beyond sound also. Okay. You may utter something and you may give a different meaning. But Anandavardhan and Abhinav Gupta talks about Shaivism. Okay. And in this culture, he talks about two things. One, phonetics, and second is meaning. So, phonology, phonetics means the sound of the words, and what meaning they convey, they have different connotations. So, Abhinav Gupta actually endorsed, okay, and added by adding something to what Anandavardhan said. Then came Kuntak with Vakroti. Kuntak says beauty lies in creative deflection of words, okay, creative diversion of words. If you divert them, and he gives you 6 diversions. Number 1 is word, okay, alliteration and assonance. Okay. When the first syllable of the following words is similar sounding, it creates alliteration. So this is how one can create beauty in poetry. Number 2, pad. When 2 words are repeated sometimes, kanak kanak te soguna madak tarik, water water everywhere, nor a drop to drink. So this is how you can create beauty in poetry, or beauty, you can add aesthetics. Third is vakya, sometimes sentence which is spoken in a different way or written in a different way can create beauty. For example, he says, instead of saying this, moon appears during night time, he says, you can change this sentence. Okay, and you can say moon is the lord of night.
Interesting.
So this has become now poetic,
This has become poetic, yes.
and aesthetics is added to it.
Hmm.
Then next is, after Vakya, he talks about the context prakarana. Okay. We have already told the whole world that text and context are two different things. Unless you know the context, you can't understand the meaning of text.
Hmm.
And that is why a twist is there. And finally, your type of composition. Okay. If you are writing couplet, or you are writing in quatrains, or free verse, it depends what type of beauty you want to create. That is very important. So that is why Kuntak says Vakroti is very important for dhwani and for text. And let me add something to it. When we talk about Coleridge also talks about rhetorics and beauty and ornaments. Coleridge says the same prose line can be beautiful when it is written into poetic way. For example, April, he gives the example, April, June, September and November have 30 days. Now he says, I can turn this line into a poetic expression by adding aesthetics and beauty to it. 30 days had September, April, June and November. This has become beautiful now.
Yes.
This is how,
This sounds poetic also.
this is how composition adds beauty to your text. Kuntak and Vakroti, they paved way. His Vakroti paved way for the coming generation of aestheticians. So after dhwani, then Abhinav Gupta added dhwani and related it to metaphorical bliss. Okay? So dhwani, suggestion and meaning, he added it to metaphorical bliss, and Kuntak added Vakroti, creative diversion of sounds.
So, sir, I think beginning from Bharat Muni all the way till Kuntak, you have explained, and we have also understood how each aesthetician took ideas from the previous aesthetician and then developed it further, which is, the right way forward. But, sir, what after Kuntak? Do we have examples of other aestheticians also and how they have taken forward the idea laid by Kuntak? What after Kuntak?
Kuntak paved way for the next generation of aestheticians. And particularly there are three names. Number one is Dandin. Dandin and Mammat and Brahma. So Brahma came out with a very good treatise, which is Kavya Alankar. So Kuntak already emphasized upon the role of Alankar or role of rhetorics. But how rhetorics should be added to the meaning and how rhetoric should be given a particular shape, Brahma paved way for this. So Brahma established that poetry is the combination of Shabd and Arth. When you combine two things, Arth and Alankar, it gives you a poetic beauty. So Brahma also discussed three things. Okay, how poetic expression can be made beautiful and what is the result of Indian aesthetic beauty in the text. He says, Gun, Dos and Auchitya. These are three things which poetry can have in it. When you talk about Gun, this is called qualities, Dos, defects, and third thing is Auchitya, which is properties. So Brahma related three things with rhetorics and also related all the theories of previous aestheticians. Okay, Ras, Dhwani, meaning and Vakroti. So this is the particular contribution of Brahma to Indian aesthetics. Then came Gandhi. He focuses on stylistics and ornamental beauty, okay, which we have already talked. That college also says what is ornamental beauty, and one thing which I would like to tell the audience, how can we achieve ornamental beauty? I would like to quote some lines of Alexander Pope about ornamental beauty and about beauty in text. Pope says that we have to learn a lot, okay, and even one extra syllable can create chaos in your poetic expression, and this needs a lot of learning and journey, okay. I always tell my audience that life is governed by fourfold formula. Number one, learn. Number two, churn. Number three, earn. And number four, return.
Wonderful.
And this has been the aim of all aestheticians also. They learned and they returned to society. And these four phases of life are actually the combination of all 9 sentiments. So Pope says, how can you return and how can you learn? He gives you a very, very beautiful way of learning. He says that there is a particular river of knowledge, okay, as we call in our civilization, there is river Saraswati, which is the river of knowledge. So when you go by the river side, okay, he says, drink the water of that river deep. We have seen one very oft quoted line of Pope: a little learning is a dangerous thing. But there is second line of this couplet also, which people forget. Drink deep and taste not the Pierian spring, which is the river of knowledge. You have to drink it deep, which is the phase of learning. And what will it do? Pope says, drinking deep will sober us again. And how can we learn? These are the masters, okay? And we have to learn their art. Like he says, in their civilization, Homer is the person who is considered to be the epitome of literature. Here, these are the master aesthetician. We have to drink their theory deep, and we have to come out as wise and learned person. Why do we want to learn? These aestheticians say that learning gives you the amount of knowledge. And what does knowledge do in your body? Why it is necessary? Because the whole focus of all the theories is creating right knowledge, which is called Samyak Jnana. Okay? What is right knowledge? Knowledge is something which burns your vices. Nahi jnanen sadrishyam pavitramya vidyate. There is nothing in the world except knowledge which is pure and which purifies you. And in the Bhagavad Gita, there is a very beautiful couplet. In the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the 37th couplet, which emphasizes upon the role of knowledge and what does it do in your body, says, Yathadhan samidho agnir bhasmasat kurute Arjun, jnana agni sarveshu karmani bhasmasat kurute. The fire of knowledge burns everything. And if a seed is burnt, seed is roasted, it cannot be germinated. Even you pour the nectar on it. Okay? So this is the power of knowledge, and this is how all aestheticians, they created knowledge. So it's actually Kavya Daras means the mirror of literature, and Dandin focuses on stylistics and ornamental beauty, both in poetry and prose, through madhurya, which is elegance, and through ojas, which is grandeur. And also he talks about prasad, which is the clarity. Okay, when you bring madhurya, when you bring ojas, which is grandeur, it gives you clarity of meaning. The whole focus is on meaning, not telling knowledge. He identifies and accepted unity between sound and meaning. Okay, which earlier sound was given by Lord Shiva, then meaning was added by Anandavardhan, and he identified and accepted both the things. In poetry, he says, he advocated of organic unity composite harmony in poetry. Okay, two things. Organic unity, all the organs of poetry should be united, and there should be harmony. Okay, they should be tuned in a way that they should support each other. Okay. He classified Alankara into Shabd Alankar, which is phonetics, and also the Arthan Alankar, which is semantics. Okay. So, of course, dhwani was already there and meaning was already there, but he emphasized and harmonized two things. Then came Mammat with his Kavya Prakas. Okay. And in Kavya Prakas, he endorsed, of course, what Dandin said, and he says, integration of earlier theories, okay, is very necessary for the coming generation of the aestheticians, and he integrated the earlier ras theory, dhwani theory, riti and alankar theory. Okay. Mammat defined kavya as sabdarth and sahitya kavyam, a harmonious union of word, meaning and riti. Okay. And Mammat also said that dhwani or suggestion, okay, of Anandavardhan and Abhinav Gupta, they are the soul of the poetry. So dhwani and meaning, they created certain things in poetry which entertained the common mass. But poetry is for common mass. Whatever you write, that should entertain people. Okay, that should be in a way that should be having particular meter, particular rhyme, rhythm, and that should be harmonized in a way so that it can entertain people, because literature is not only instructing people but also delighting people. Okay, so balanced approach in Kavya Prakas, which is considered to be a pedagogical text for the next generation of the aestheticians, it gave a different view to the next generation of aestheticians.
So I think we have completed a lot of maestros today. Our major topic, our major theme for this lecture today was on the various maestros of Indian aesthetics. But sir, on popular demand, in the previous podcast, in the very first podcast, you mentioned one line, and that was literature is the interpretation of life. And there were a few comments, there were a few queries also. What exactly do we mean by this? When you said that literature is an interpretation of life, what does it mean?
Literature is the interpretation of life because no life, no literature. We exist, literature exists because of our life. And when you talk about the aim of literature, so literature delights, literature instructs, literature also persuades, literature transforms,
Yes.
and literature sustains us.
And these are all the elements that we require for a life.
Exactly, we require
Yes.
for life. So, and why do we require? Because the end product of literature is knowledge. And why do we need knowledge? I repeat Bhartrihari. Bhartrihari, after his penance, he said, why knowledge is necessary? And why do we need to disseminate knowledge? He says, Agya Sukhma Radhe, Suktara Radhe Vishesagya. Gyan Lav Durvidagdham Naro Brahmapi Te Naranjati. Somebody who is having half knowledge or who is half educated cannot be, is not fit for this society, number one, and even the God doesn't have power to make him understand certain things. So for literature, it is the faculty of life, interpretation of life, and literature is having a very good product, which is knowledge, which adds value to life and which makes life livable.
Wonderful. A very, very beautiful perspective and a great way to bring this lecture to an end. Personally, sir, I also believe that, watching this podcast today, watching this lecture today, it was a long lecture. We discussed on various ideas of the various theories of rasa. We discussed the 9 sentiments, the 9 elements of ras. We then also discussed some of the major aestheticians, the major maestros, the major propagators of the Indian aesthetics. So I believe the viewers watching this and the institutions watching this should also take a leaf from Dr. Devender Singh's book. And the idea is to disseminate the idea of Indian aesthetics all over the world. And this is something that we discuss today. I also believe, sir, that this lecture would reach the various curriculums of the various universities, not just in India but abroad, because there is an urgent need to bring forward the idea of Indian aesthetics for peace, for harmony, and for a better life and better humanity, as you rightly mentioned. So on this note, I would once again thank Dr. Devender Singh for sparing his time. It was great to be with him, and looking forward to more such associations, sir, in the near future.
Sure,
Because-
thank you very much.
Because in the coming weeks also we'll be having more lectures on this. I once again thank you so much for sparing your time for all of us.
Thank you very much, Piyush. And in the next lecture, we will be discussing contemporary perspective of Indian aesthetics,
Contemporary.
which is very important, because those masters laid down some rules of aesthetics. We followed them. We created great deal of literature. We sent it to the entire world, and that has been useful to the entire world, and that has been copied almost by everybody. Now we will be discussing what is the contemporary perspective of Indian aesthetics. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.